That's Jack.
Hi, hiya. You alright?
Picking up.
Yelling.
Coming.
Coming. I am coming. Should I talk this close to the microphone? Lean in and answer every question while slyly looking at the camera out of the corners of my eye, capturing the audience with every movement.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I don't think I'm ready.
I'm not really ready, to be honest. I get really nervous. I'm nervous right now.
Really?
I'm sweating.
I think
sweaty.
that's just because it's warm.
That could also be, I think.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to TorqueTalks. Today we have with us Mr. Jack Farmer Brown from Australia.
Cue the audience. Hello.
So, welcome to TorqueTalks.
Thank you.
And what brings you to Colorado?
The tour, the tricking tour.
The tricking tour, and you've been doing the whole thing. You're one of the guests, right?
Yeah. So I flew over on the 29th of May. I've been touring America pretty much since then. And I feel like this is our 6th stop out of 9 stops or so. So yeah, thanks for all the sponsors on the tour for getting me out here.
Yeah, so have you been enjoying that so far?
It's been unreal, dude. Like, I've never really experienced tricking travel too much. Like, I've been to Loop Kicks in 2015. I've been to New Zealand a couple of times and hooked once, but you know, you're only there for a couple of weeks at a time, whereas the tour, it's like just 2 months straight of touring America and traveling. So yeah, that was a huge, for me, like a really big eye-opener as to what the different communities are like, which I think is fantastic. Like, that's what I want to experience the most in tricking, is just seeing people in their own community, interacting with each other, learning about their communities and different brands and like how they get their community going and like what they do to support themselves. And so, yeah, for me, it's just been a complete unreal experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, loving every minute of it. It's really
so 2 questions from that. The first is, how did you manage to get all of that time off of work to be able to come and travel?
To be honest, it was a huge surprise. I wasn't expecting work to let me come. So I originally sent my boss an email explaining to her what tricking was because she didn't know about it.
And what is your main income?
I work in a hospital as an orderly. For those who don't know what an orderly is, I push people around in beds pretty much all day. So just patient transport throughout the hospital, taking them to and from scans, and just other appointments for specialists and things like that.
Okay, so you sent her this email and...
Yeah, and she didn't really respond. So I hit up Melissa Bash, the Tricks Dynamics head person. She's the head of Tricks Dynamics. And so Bash put together this email. She's an absolute goddess, by the way. Like, I read that email. She sent me a draft before she sent it through to her. And I was like, yeah, send it now. Please do. So, yeah, she basically just outlined, like, how much she wanted me over here and that it wouldn't be, like, an ongoing thing. Like, every year it wouldn't be me coming out here for 2 months sort of thing. That was my boss's main concern, was, like, will Jack have to be coming out here every year for 2 months?
Right.
Or will he be able to stay, like, come back after the 2 months and then, you know, that's it. And he can continue to work for us. So that was a huge part from my boss's point of view. And I completely understand that. Like, I've only had the job since January, so that was like a huge commitment.
Oh, wow. And they let you... Yeah. So after only because when did you confirm everything? Like back in...
Probably like the start of
March or May?
Yeah, the start of May. I'm pretty sure everything got confirmed.
Yeah, that's right. It did take a little while after we sent out the initial invite.
So yeah, that was really big on my boss's behalf, being able to be like, yeah, sure, Jack can go, like, just in the future, make sure that you can, you know, save up that time off before you leave.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty surprising. Super grateful for that as well.
That's awesome. And so the second question off of that is, out of the communities that you've visited so far, like, what are some of the key things that you've really taken away of, like, what they're doing right and maybe what some of the communities are lacking?
Well, that's a really hard question. I can't even remember what I did last week, let alone what different communities are doing. But from what I've noticed, a lot of the different brands just have an abundance of classes, like for the up-and-coming trickers, and just people who are genuinely interested in movement. For example, Tricks Dynamics, they do like acro stuff, I'm pretty sure, as well as tricking. And I know you guys also have a big input with the community and teaching classes throughout all of Colorado, like different gyms and things like that. So I feel like that's a good strong point for any community, really, is just pushing tricking out there, welcoming new people into the movement and teaching them how to do it safely. And I haven't really come across anything that's like wrong per se in any community. I feel like everybody's doing a great
Not
job.
necessarily that they're doing something wrong, but maybe something that they're lacking, like things that like one community that you saw was doing really well, and then another one maybe just didn't have that quite as much.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say Neo is definitely on top of the game right now in terms of like being able to fly people out for their gathering and things like that. And I'd say just the smaller communities obviously can't have that luxury because they don't have enough people to create that much money. Like Neo just attracts so many people. It's a great gathering. And I feel like that's just purely from experience. They've been in the tricking game for a long time. Therefore, they know who to hit up to help sponsor their event. So like the younger communities and the not so prevalent communities that like not many people know about, for example, like Regen, like it was a great gathering. But I feel like because they don't have too much experience within like the whole tricking community, like around or across the world even, they obviously couldn't get enough or as much money as Neo could, for example, to fly out the bigger guests,
Right.
To hype up that gathering and I guess create more people to come and trick there. So I feel like it's not a downfall of a gathering. It's just purely from lack of experience, which they'll obviously gain through time. But yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back to when you started tricking. How long ago was that?
About 7.5 to 8 years or so. I started in late 2010. Yeah. So I mean, in terms of like how did I get into it? Is that what you know?
Yeah, just like tell me a little bit of the backstory. Like, so it was late 2010.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start like doing flips? Like,
to just doing flips, I saw this guy who's now a good friend of mine, Jay Young. I went to high school with him, and I just saw him randomly do a standing back tuck like during lunchtime or something, and I was like, "Whoa! I've never seen anyone do that before. Like, can you do it again?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Well, I'll do it again if you can do it. Like when you do it, sort of thing. Like, I'll do it when you do it, kind of thing." And I was like, "Okay." So I actually went and learned how to backflip. Like I could already do one on the trampoline, but I never even thought about.
So it
taking
was a spite flip.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, I really want to see him do it again, so I want to try and do it. And that took like maybe, I don't know, a couple of months for me to like muster up the guts to do it. And yeah, from there I did it. Went to him straight away. I was like, "Hey, check it out!" Popped a backflip. He did one. I saw it again. I was like, "Yeah, sick." We started hanging out, and then we just sort of became like your general flippers / wannabe free runners, I suppose. So we'd hang out on the weekends, we'd do flips, we'd go to the grass sessions and stuff like that. And from there, I guess we just created a cool friendship, and a bunch of other people sort of gravitated towards the flipping scene in far north Queensland. And yeah, I guess one day he came up to me and was like, "Yo, have you seen this video? Like it's this thing called tricking." And I was like, "Oh, if it's got flips in it, I'm interested. Show me what it is." And it was a video of, I'm pretty sure it was Phil Gibbs's mid 2010 sampler. And I just saw like him running into like football field size run up into a J-step double call, like, way higher than I could ever think anyone could jump. And it just knocked my socks off. I was like, "What was that? Like, I need to learn how to do that." And from there, it was just hooked. Like, I just could not stop watching it. I was thinking about it every day. Any opportunity I would get, I'd just be doing flips, trying to learn how to corkscrew, trying to learn how to gainer. And then from there, I found different people over the internet, through the internet community. And yeah, I guess it sort of just took off from there. And I started going to gatherings in Australia and stuff like that. And now I'm here 8 years later.
Are there a lot of Australian gatherings other than like the big ones?
Nah, I mean, ATG is definitely our biggest. We used to have, from when I entered the tricking community in Australia, we had maybe one mid-year gathering that started off originally called Skyline, and that was sort of one state, like Queensland, and then the other state, New South Wales, would fly up to Queensland for it. And like, sort of Scott and Phil kind of hosted that. And so that was my first ever gathering with Skyline in Brisbane. And that was...
What year?
2011. Yeah, so about 6 months into my tricking
career. So you had just started. And...
Yeah. I've still got footage of that, and every time I look at it, I just cringe, I cry. It's disgusting. But I mean, it was a huge milestone for me, because I looked up to Scott and Phil for those 6 months, and I was like, I really want to meet these guys and find out what they're like, and just experience their tricks in person. And from that on, I was just like, from that point on, I was like, nah, like I'm gonna take this seriously. I really want to try and be the best I can be. And yeah, like that was pretty much it. That gathering and ATG, and then sort of like replications of Skyline appeared every year. So we sort of, for about 3 or 4 years, maybe after that, we had one mid-year gathering as well as ATG. And then that's just sort of fizzled out, and now it's just ATG. But yeah, trying to figure out something that we can try and do to make another like 6 monthly gathering at biannual or something like that. But I mean, running a gathering, as you would know, it's hard. It's stressful, and it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to get everyone to like link up on the same weekend and be able to travel on that weekend. And you know, getting off from work is always really difficult.
Yeah. Driving people everywhere, making sure everyone's like there on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's not something. I mean, I'm looking forward to it if it gets to that point. Like we manage to get enough funding and stuff to make that happen. But right now, I'm just sort of like chilling.
Yeah.
But it might happen in the future. We'll see.
Yeah, but that's still pretty good because like how many like extremely active trickers are there? Like the ones that go to the gatherings and are constantly posting footage and like within Australia.
Within Australia, I'd say probably like a minimum of like 30 or so like active trickers. It's probably more. I mean, I don't really pay too much attention to like the online community like on Facebook. I mean, it's just for me personally, it's toxic. I'm like, ugh, like whatever. Unless there's a cool trick that pops up, I'm like, oh, sick, like that. Comment on it, like doing really well. But
yeah, a lot of silly arguments happen.
Oh man, it's
people
ridiculous.
Take too much stock.
I don't understand, but yeah, I mean, I'd say ATG over the last couple of years has started to re-increase in numbers. So the one coming up in January next year, 2019, I think there's probably going to be at least 70 to 80 people there.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be a lot of people coming to Australia for this one.
We've got some cool international guests coming. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and it looks like King of the Floor is going to be there.
That's true. Yeah, they're going to be there.
So that's going to be a wild time, especially like you guys as Australians are known for already embodying the King of the Floor spirit, you know?
No, it's going to be a lot of fun.
So with the challenges, oh boy.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a huge inspiration, or maybe just like a motivation kick for the Australian community.
Yeah.
To sort of like, you know, reconnect, because it's been a little bit distant recently. Like I remember when I first started, I was like sort of new to the Brisbane scene. The Sydney guys were coming up like pretty regularly, and that was really cool because how often do you get to see people from another state, you know, unless it's like an actual gathering.
Right.
They would randomly just show up sometimes and be like, hey, we're here for a couple of days, let's sesh. And we did that. So I'm really hoping that this coming ATG is going to spark some, or like light a fire under some people's butts and get them to, you know, explore more and just reconnect with the rest of Australia's community.
Yeah. I'm definitely seeing that though in like a lot of the US communities. It's sort of like there's a newer, younger community that's starting to bud and grow a little bit, but they're not quite old enough to go to gatherings on their own and, you know, do all of those things.
Sure.
And then a lot of the people who established, you know, a lot of the gathering culture and the stuff over the last, you know, 8-9 years, a lot of them have sort of grown up and gotten real jobs, and they're busy and they can't get time off from work and they're broken and you know it's hard to keep that same community alive as people are sort of phasing out of that stage in their life. But then also I met quite a few people at Neo who had taken like 2 or 3 years off as a break where they were like, you know, working and focused on their careers and finishing school and things like that. And then now coming back into it, they were just so excited about like, oh, I remember why I was in this in the first place. And like, I've missed this all of the years that I was away. And, you know, a couple of like 28, 29-year-olds that were like, yeah, I'm definitely going to start coming to gatherings again. I've missed this.
Yeah, that's sick. And I mean, life does get in the way sometimes, and you might be taken out of tricking for a little while. But for me personally, like, I'll never fully be taken out of tricks. Like, my heart will always be into it. I'll always be trying to like help out the community as much as I can. But I mean, like for those people who are making like tricking their career, I think that's the most awesome thing you could possibly do. Like for a long time, you hear about people being like, oh, I really want to make something out of this, but they don't really know where to start. And now we've got people like Omid and Carl Skelly with Plan Zero, just and Bailey Payne as well, just like making it their life, and that's
Yeah,
I feel like it's a huge inspiration.
Dom Lewis as well.
Dom especially, yeah. And I feel like that's a really cool thing. Like it's sort of like the progression of tricks, like how we've got kids like Shosei now doing like standing triple fall and step back triple fall, stuff like that. Like back in 2012, we would have laughed at that concept, but because now that we're actually seeing it happen,
I literally did laugh at that
working.
concept. Rudy and I used to like after gatherings, we'd like lay around chilling and just like make up the most ridiculous combos, and like we were like, yeah, and then someone will do like dub triple, and like that just happens now.
Yeah,
and like people have landed quad cork, like Alexander Anderson is just like, he did it like several times at No Gravity last week.
Yeah.
After the original.
Yeah.
The man is insane.
Yeah, it's definitely going to continue like forever, dude. There's going to be little kids that are just destroying the game, and then it's going to inspire older people to keep like going with it. And yeah, I'm really looking forward. Even as like a 30-year-old, when I hit 30 years or something, I'm just pumped to see what's going on in tricking at that point. Like now, I mean, that's 7 years away still, and Shosei has been like weekly upping the game in tricking, and it's insane. Like it's just going to keep going, and I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, there was they were talking at the house the other night about some of the other people at Tundra that are training, and they apparently have like 6 or 7 year olds that can scoot full. And like to put that into perspective, they have like, what was it, like 6 or 7 years to catch up to where Shosei is at.
Yeah.
Like in the same environment.
Yeah, dude. They're going to be creating different moves.
Like, he hasn't even been training for 7 years.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's been like 4 or 5.
It's been a while, but not 7.
Definitely not 7. And yeah, I watched, I went onto the Tundra like YouTube page and just watched some of their videos like that didn't really involve Shosei or anything, because I wanted to see what their community was like and how they train them. And like you said, they have little 5-year-olds that are battling each other. They have like tiny toddler battles, and it's crazy just seeing these little 5-year-olds doing scoot falls, cartful hyper, like master scoot gainers and stuff.
Well, and they're like, they're so low on the, we lost the camera. I mean, you just got to have the right environment, the right people who are, you know, teaching and like trying to share their knowledge. But also it's really important to have like people of the same age and skill level around you that are sort of working on that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I definitely see a lot faster of progressions, you know, with this younger group where they have, you know, resources like Kojo's Trick Labs and, you know, a lot more people who are, you know, knowledgeable and willing to go to sessions with them and train with these younger kids and be like, oh, well, you're not quite doing that right. Here's what you need to do.
For sure.
And like I feel like back when I started in 2010, there was a lot more just like, go figure it out.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Go find the video that maybe someone made. Like, there was some Juju Mufu tutorials, and then there was that Epic guy that was floating around that had a couple of tricking tutorials.
I think that rings a bell.
I forget.
Kyle Epic Mendoza.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are, I'm sorry.
But, like, I just remember, like, those were, like, really the only tutorials that were like formulated and like directed, like, this is what I'm doing in this move. The rest were just like samplers and people just like putting up scrap footage and like trying to share like, hey, this is this thing that I did. It looked kind of like this thing somebody else did. What do we call these things?
Exactly.
You know, and like,
I mean, Club 540 was still a thing then. I feel like that definitely helped me a lot in terms of figuring out like the
I lived there for a while.
Moves, like for me, touchdown raise and stuff. I was like, what do I have to do to get this move down? I've tried it 100 times already and it's still not working. And yeah, I mean, Club 540 for me now is way outdated. And now we have things like Kojo's Trick Lab
and Trick Theory
and Trick Theory 2 that have, instead of just, you know, showing a video of someone doing a move and then slow-moing it, they actually have people talking to the camera. Kojo interviews people, he explains what they think about during a trick, and for me, that's the best way you could possibly do it, is like, you know, you can see a video of somebody doing something but you can only learn like a certain amount of information from that before you have to like ask them questions about like, what do you think about, you know, how do you go into it, how do you go out of it, like what are your stances before and after the trick. So yeah, really am backing like Kojo's Trick Lab. It's another step forward. Like it's a huge progression for me in the tricking community.
Oh, definitely. He's done fantastic things with that. And like the library of information there just keeps growing as days go by. Like he's constantly adding new stuff and, you know, getting community fed like tutorials, like what does the community that participates and uses this service, you know, what do you guys actually want to see? And like, let's go find the one person on the face of the earth that can do that and let's interview him and figure out like, is it possible for the rest of us to do that? Or is that just a you thing?
Yeah, for sure. That's great.
Why can I not remember the next question? This is the biggest struggle of my life.
I'm not sure.
What have you done already?
Maybe.
You asked me about my tricking life, I think, like when I started, how I started, community, doing things, why I'm on tour, how I got here.
Oh, what's this new thing that I keep seeing for the culture?
For the culture. Okay, so I feel like we just don't really care too much, like, of what people will think about it. We just want to be like, this is tricking.
Right, just put it out there.
Move on, you know? Like, you just got to know about it because we're sick of people not knowing about it. You know, we need to get it recognized. Yeah, just like raw, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
That's our goal. Yeah.
All right. So where can people find you to keep up with not just for the culture, but you and your tricks and your travels?
Oh, cool. So my Instagram, JFB Raw, RAWR. When I get back to Australia, I'm actually going to start doing some video logging as well. So I guess my YouTube channel, just Jack Farmer Brown tricking, and my Facebook, Jack Farmer Brown. For the culture, everything's sort of linked. Mine and Renato's.
Renato bread, team bread, something like that.
I will cut that out.
I will flash it up here.
Yeah, you'll find it.
I have it from the Torque Talk he did.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, there you go. But yeah, for the culture, you'll find it all there. I can't really remember what it's like. _FRTHCLTR _
Just no vowels.
But I mean, we've got highlights on our Instagrams that you'll be able to see. We're posting about it all the time. So please check it out. It'll be a huge help and spread the word. Please.
Awesome. Thanks for watching.
Bye.